Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Exceptional Conservative Show or the Exceptional Conservative Network. We are not ashamed of the good news of conservatism, for it is the power of liberation, first to the Republican and then the Socialists. Yours truly, Ken McClinton, we're at the helm tonight. Tough subjects that we're going to be dealing with tonight. Also, great celebrations. A lot of fun. We can be as enthusiastic as we can and optimistic about life here in America, but we're going to be honest. The Cosmic Queen, Jessica Wynter Martin, will be joining us out of Ward 7, and we will be talking about missing persons and why the media is focused just on girls when we really have a tremendous problem that we need to deal with. In addition to that, coming up in the second quarter of our program, the great Raynard Jackson will be joining us. We've been invited not only to do the Governor's Forum this weekend, that's TECN, that is, but also the Lieutenant Governors for the Commonwealth of Virginia next month, May 10th, a Wednesday night. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited, and we'll be talking with him about the Commonwealth and about the hopes and aspirations of urban Americans in politics. BZ will be joining us in the third quarter of our show. We will be talking about Fauxcahontas and Google and what they have in common when it comes to women, women's folk. Let's just say that I wouldn't go looking for a pay increase with either one. And then, of course, we close out our night with none other than the very lovely, the very beautiful, the very brilliant Melanie Collette. Yes, Melanie Collette. She is the first black woman to head a 24/7 business network, broadcasting network, that is. So congratulations to Melanie. This will be her first interview since taking the helm of that. I hope that you enjoy our conversation tonight, and I hope that we have a whole lot of fun. Trust me, I'm looking forward to all that we're going to be doing tonight. Big issue is missing persons. In the chat roll, of course, the very lovely, the very beautiful Mary Brockman. And Mary Brockman is my bouncer. If you diss her, you diss me, you will be dismissed from our program. Dave Milner's in there. Melanie Collette's in there. And Claudia is in there. Well, Claudia's so beautiful. Yes, she is. And Claudia, is there any way I can trick you to go to Vegas? I mean, just to show you off. You're just a beautiful woman. We'll be coming up in just a few moments. You know how we actually start this particular program, and we certainly are not ashamed in starting it with our children leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I will no longer be holding. The big mantelpiece is right behind me. I'm going to get out of the way so you can see the flags, and we will lead in Pledge of Allegiance, and then we will contact none other than the Cosmic Queen herself, Jessica Wynter Martin. I don't think there's anything more settling for an individual than when you lose your daughter or your son. And it is simply amazing all that we have watched over the years here in Washington, D.C., with the lack of support in public safety. And so I just want you all to know that I sincerely, with all of my heart, with all of my soul, believe that we need to have a better concept of what public safety really means, and that it means that for all of us, not just for some of us. I know what the law says, and the law says that in the District of Columbia, at least, or at least at the federal appeals court level, that the job of the police is not to protect, first and foremost, the citizenry as much as it is to protect those who are in power. A lot of people don't know that. Um, so it is very disconcerting when your child goes and there is no interest from the media in terms of that. So I want you all to know that I take this with great sincerity and great concern, and quite frankly, that we find a way to come to an end um, of missing cases, and if not, at least that we begin to fight more prudently. Put your right hand over your heart, and you see the big old flag right over there, the Pledge of Allegiance sticker back here. Kids, lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this day.
Ready, begin. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, and I hope that we have no complications tonight with the lovely Skype system. Let us get in contact with none other than Jessica Martin, a advocate in urban America for missing children, and certainly a very reputable individual. Met her at an event just a few weeks ago, and I admired her passion.
Hello.
Good evening. This is the Exceptional One, Kim McClinton. You are live on the Exceptional Conservative Show for the nation's capital. Miss the Cosmic Queen, Jessica Wynter Martin, is at the.
Yes, you have the queen on the air. How are we doing this evening?
Doing just fine. Glad to have you. Want to introduce to some and present to others Jessica Wynter Martin, known as the Cosmic Queen, and an advocate in the area of missing persons. Had the opportunity to meet you a couple of weeks ago at an event in Northwest Washington, D.C., where a group of individuals came together and basically showed great contempt for the police, for the city in terms of its public safety handling of missing persons, but specifically for the issue of girls. And so,
Right.
Jessica, I want to get from you this particular day, first and foremost, the opportunity to introduce yourself to the Exceptional Conservative Network family and to talk about your efforts in terms of advocacy for missing persons.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much for bringing me on the show. Let me start right there. I really appreciate you bringing me to your audience. So, as you so gratefully introduced me, I am Jessica Wynter with a Y, Martin, the Cosmic Queen. I do, in general, we are as a people, as melanated people. We are at a war with the system in a lot of different ways. And I focus much more of my energy and my time and what I do upon building up our own people, building our love. And so if you ever look at my show, it's the Building Black Love Beyond Incense, Wine, and Candles, and that's why. And that's why I was there. We have an epidemic of what's going on, and as you're relating, we look at the list of missing persons. I was just reviewing the list a little while ago. Now, talk about contempt for the police. My biggest concern is their ability to count. They say there's 36 Open cases. Yeah, if you look at the website, mpdc.dc.gov/missing persons. If you go to the website, it'll say there's 36 open cases, but if you count faces, it's not 36 faces. So I'm a little confused. It's not contempt. It's just a good old-fashioned question. Like, can you guys count?
Yeah.
Maybe they went.
You
I
know,
don't know.
unfortunately, a lot of people think that it's just cynicism or sarcasm, but the truth of the matter is, it's kind of difficult when you have individuals that are standing before you. And first, I want to
Mm-hmm.
give kudos out to the new commander,
Mm-hmm.
Chanel Anderson. Congratulations on your work on this particular effort. I'm glad to see that the police department are going to finally take statistics to heart. But when you look at the fact that there were 4,000 missing persons, over 4,000 in 2012, and this year there are
Right.
close to 2,000, shouldn't we be a little, just slightly concerned that we don't understand the numbers the same way across the board?
Well, when you start looking at these numbers and what classifies a missing person, there is a case, for example, Elijah Howard, 12 years old, and he's been on and off the missing persons list a lot lately. And that's not where that comes from. So sometimes those numbers are skewed. You'll say that there's X or Y amount of missing persons, but there's actually one person who is declared missing multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
And then at what point are they declared missing? You don't have to wait 24 or 48 hours before you declare people missing anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So, a kid who just doesn't go to school, doesn't go to the after-school program where they're supposed to be, maybe declared missing. It turns out they're at a friend's house down the street, taken off the list. And then, something that we had talked about before was how most of these missing persons are adults and male. Almost all of them are black. I just looked recently, and we have 4, I want to say, off the top of my head, 4, maybe 5 non-black people on the list right now for missing persons of the open cases. But ages 12 to 65, and overwhelmingly male. So there's other things going on here. Why is it that we focus on the girls? Well, I think it's a two-pronged problem. When I try to go out there, persons, I'm sure like you've experienced this, and get people to care, and you mentioned missing men, people don't seem to care.
Yeah.
But you say missing girls, everyone turns around. Well, that's my daughter. Well, that's my little sweetie. Well, that's great. But then when you start looking into why they're missing, then it gets even deeper. The rabbit hole just keeps going deeper. And, most of these girls, it seems like, they're runaways.
Exactly.
And that comes to why are they running away? Why are they not being reported on Amber Alert because they're runaways and not missing? Why are they running away? Well, because maybe society at large cares once they're gone, but when they're at their mother's house and their stepdad's raping them, and mom refuses to believe her, and she goes to the police, and the police say, "Well, I don't have any proof.
Yeah.
I can't make a case."
Yeah.
And then she says, "Well, F that, I'm getting out of here."
Exactly.
Then now she's a runaway. Now she's a missing persons case, and now everybody wants to go find our girls, find our girls. She doesn't want to be found. And if I were her, I wouldn't want to be found either. I wouldn't want.
We're talking tonight with the Cosmic Queen, Jessica Wynter Martin, who is an advocate for missing persons. And I do mean persons, not genders. When we come back,
sexes,
when we come back from our break, I want to talk with you in greater detail about the bias that's being heard on both sides of the fence and how that's not helping anybody be found any more quickly. And in fact, I also want to talk with you about the fact that this is an industry coming up, that sometimes we're not really looking for solutions. We're just looking to make certain that we get paid. This is going to be a very hard show for some of you DC people who are listening, and you're thinking, oh, okay, they're going to do the kumbaya moment here. No, we need to be real in order for our kids to be healed. We'll be right back with more of the best right after these messages.
There are only two things you should be doing weeknights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and one of them is legal in 58 states. So do the other one. Listen live to The Exceptional Conservative Show with Ken McClinton, Monday through Wednesday at 9:10 p.m. Eastern Time on SHR Media and at theexceptionalconservativeshow.com. The Exceptional Conservative Show, bringing the sexy back to late night conservative talk.
I'm Ken McClinton, chairman of the Exceptional Conservative Network. Never has the cry for economic liberty been more resounding in urban America than on Election Day 2016. It's the economy. All real change begins with the American entrepreneur. Socialism did not work. Progressivism stole the wealth of individuals and families. You voted for something different, real change. But what does real change look and sound like? It looks like Las Vegas, and it sounds like Freedom Fest 10. Freedom Fest, the world's largest gathering of free minds, is a popular liberty-minded conference at the beautiful Paris Resort in Las Vegas from July 19th to the 22nd. Hear the voices of the urban freedom movement: Deneen Borelli, Larry Elder, Gina Lofton, Helen Rowley, Juan Pablo Andrande, and Zayad Abdullah. Share ideas with powerful liberty movement figures like Steve Forbes, Jim Rogers, Anthony Scaramucci, Jennifer Grossman, Naomi Brockwell, Dinesh D'Souza, John Stossel, Lisa Kennedy, Peter Schiff, and our keynote speaker this year, William Shatner. Your money, your liberty, your freedom, your city. Come for the real and return with the change. Register now at freedomfest.com for $100 off the regular registration rate when you use the all caps code TECN. We'll see you there. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you back to the Exceptional Conservative Show live from the nation's capital. We're not ashamed of the good news of conservatism, for it is the power of liberation, first to the Republican and then to the socialists. Ladies and gentlemen, have with us tonight the Cosmic Queen, Jessica Wynter Martin. We're talking about a very tough subject tonight, a subject that cannot be glazed over with propaganda, nor with glad tidings of interest. Simply put, right now, there are some over 2,000 kids who are missing in the District of Columbia. Unfortunately, the media attention has been placed on the reporting of this and not necessarily on the solutions that can be found to stop our children from running away from home, and as well from sex trafficking, which involves a number of individuals who may be missing critically on the list. Ms. Martin, got to ask you here. You and I have been coming against very grandly. There is a private meeting at the NAACP tomorrow, right here in Washington, D.C., in which I was disinvited from it because they found out I was a man. And
Interesting.
and very interesting. And quite frankly, the proposition is that the concern should be about girls. And the number of girls that are running away, and there's nothing that a man could possibly say to impact that. Got to ask you, is that the type of behavior that we need from our organizations here, community organizations in Washington, D.C., to deal with missing persons, unresolved homicides, and sex trafficking?
No, well, so let me take this from two sides of the fence on that specific point. The element of runaway girls is something that is a sex-specific situation. And what I mean by that is, it's not to say that there is never the case that there is a young boy who's being molested by his stepdad, for example, and he, runs away. But there's a unique experience of women and girls, and when we come together to deal with our issues, there is a certain feeling of it's for us, by us only.
Mm-hmm.
So on one end, I can respect that feeling that they may have, like, you're a man, this is about women. However, when we're talking about solutions, right? There's a difference between, is this a circle where we are as survivors of sex trafficking or survivors of runaway cases, are coming together to celebrate and to congratulate? Then, right, there's no space maybe for someone who hasn't been through that. But if we're coming together to be solution oriented,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna deal with this issue. We're gonna pull together our resources. There's a need to be very specific about who you bring in, which is intentional and a good thing. But to say simply because you are a man and we're dealing with runaway girls and women, you have nothing to say here. That, I find it, I'd like to see where they were coming from with that.
Mm-hmm.
And, I say this because I work with other, groups of women who do women-only events, women-only. But usually they're vending and fashion-oriented events. We're actually just speaking with them about, would it be appropriate for that group to take on, for example, a fundraiser to deal with the runaway missing persons? And we said it would have to go specifically towards the girls, but we want to make sure we can create programs that deal with men and boys as well. And then how do we do that?
Mm-hmm.
So, I think what one thing we come to is that there is a comfort, and you talk about the industry. This is part of the industry, industrialization of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
There is a comfort in seeing women, especially women and children, as being victims, as being vulnerable.
Yeah.
And men as being perpetrators.
Exactly.
So when we look at the statistics that show us that men are both the perpetrator and the victim to most of the crime, violent crime, that is ever committed, hands down, over time, over space, over everything, men are just, the perpetrators, but they are also overwhelmingly the victims of violent crime. Then, you see why does this happen? And what does this do? It erases men, it erases the victimhood of men, and in a lot of ways, it contributes to the predatory nature of men. When you, as I feel, and you would be a man, maybe you could relate, if you've been preyed upon, my male friends have been jumped in the street, all kinds of things, and people don't care because you're a man, suck it up.
Exactly.
Then you're that much more likely, I think, to then turn around and do that to someone else, regardless of the gender, age, class, race of the victim you choose.
Mm-hmm.
That you may, being a white man who was victimized by white males, turn around and victimize black women, black females, simply because they're there. Not because you hate women or hate black people, but because you just happen to be around them. And you recognize that the system as a whole does not care about them. And that's going to be where you see like a Holtzclaw, Eric Holtzclaw, police officer who had raped 13 black women multiple times, a serial rapist, and, went to jail for this, being a police officer. He dealt with this, and that's where you see, like, where did that come from? Maybe he can think that was an okay thing. Being a police officer, him of all people, know how black women are treated and regarded by the system. And no, I'm not interested in trying to say that, in trying to make Eric Holtzclaw into anything other than a rapist.
Exactly.
A serial rapist.
Exactly.
I'm not going to try to say he's anything other than that. But it's possible.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but it's also
that maybe he also.
But also, just the simple matter is that Holtzclaw is a man unto himself, not to extrapolate what he did upon an entire gender of men, causing them to be labeled predatory and thus not in need of the same help. Because when you go back and you look at one of the greatest R&B singers of all times, who mentioned that he was molested in his youth a number of times in the church, quite frankly. And that's how he ended up becoming a chooser of a certain lifestyle, per se. And you can go back. the bottom line is when you begin to isolate by gender, just like, for instance, the event that we attended 2 weeks ago, on the dais, there was nothing but social workers up there. There were no faith leaders. There was no one from Ward 7 and Ward 8 up there,
Right.
where most of the actual events take place. And it's amazing how it seemed as if in that particular, and I'll just give my analysis, it just seemed in that event, we must all get up and get on buses and go into that neighborhood and stop it today. What happens tomorrow? What happens Monday, Tuesday? What happens? You understand what I'm saying? Or did I miss some point there?
No, I mean, I will give you, you know, I will give the organizer of that event one token of understanding, which is that it was, you know, Sunyata Calabash Tea and Tonic, and her shop was like 2 blocks from that location. So, you know, in that scenario, well, I agree with you because that's one of the first things I saw as well. Then I kind of reminded myself, well, if I were to do this exact same thing, I would probably have people mostly from my little neighborhood of Deanwood, which would only be more helpful because it would be, you know, but so, you know, we tend to look in our own backyard. But yes, it tends to be common. It's part of, again, the industrialization of this. Our system is working just fine. The system is working exactly how it was meant to work. Mm-hmm. They want Black women to think that there is such a scarcity of Black men available that they have to tolerate a Black man who will rape their daughter just to have a man in the home. Yeah. And I've heard this phrase, I can get another daughter, I can't get another man.
Wow.
I've heard it. Mm-hmm. I've heard social workers say it. I've heard teachers say it. I've heard youth who are siblings or friends to people who are dealing with trauma and abuse at home say that that's what their mothers have said to them. It's very, you know, but there's a reason. There's a reason. It goes down to things like the Love and Hip Hop, the Wendy Williams shows, the silly little cartoons and TV shows, and the poisonous food that we feed ourselves and our children. It is so many things that are going into this together that make it this situation, and then put us, those of us who can help or feel that we can help, are not the people who are actually in that situation.
Exactly.
And that's why. That's why that meeting was where it was. The people who were there. People who came, like as in the audience, were those who came. Why the social worker who worked for Baloo was a white woman. And it's not to criticize her. She seemed to really care and be there because she wanted to care. But Baloo is in Ward 8. It's a well-known space here in D.C. Why? The question is, why is anyone who's working in a school in a Black neighborhood not Black?
Yep, that's
right. But why is it that DCPS can't seem to pump out people who can go work at DCPS? Mm-hmm. The system is working this way on purpose. It's by design. It's by design to create our youth in these areas to become the fodder, the cannon fodder. Mm-hmm. You know, to become, you know, the part of the system. The Capitol Hill needs little boys and girls to molest at night.
Thank you for bringing that point up. Jessica,
they need little boys and girls to molest. They need it.
Jessica, let me go on that particular point with you, and let me let you finish after it. On the streets, a 14-year-old girl is only going to get you about $100 to $200 at max on the street. This is based on statistics from the DOJ in terms of their gang violence units and gangs using sex trafficking to raise funds, just as they use drug trafficking. You're only going to get $100 to $200 a night, because what are you going to normally find out on the street but girls? But that little boy, that 8 to 14-year-old boy, is going to bring in about $400 to $500 per opportunity. So when you think of the fact that 95% of the critical cases of young Black men or young little boys or whatever that are missing, quite frankly, there is an economic reason for that particular situation. And so to focus specifically on one gender and say that we got to save our little girls, we got to save our little babies, and not focus on what the real issue is in our community, that we have a judiciary that tosses gang members out on the street on a 24-hour notice. We have an executive office that doesn't do law enforcement to the level that it could be, simply because, quite frankly, you don't want to lose your votes in urban areas. And then you have a congressional, or forgive me, a council that doesn't want to pass any legislation, especially to make reporting of missing children within 24 hours a law. Don't want to do that because they don't want to get the victim, the poor black mother who may be using her child as a part of sex trafficking itself. We don't want to get that person in trouble. We want to social work our way out of it. Over the years, with all the social work money that we've spent, all the job trainings programs that we've gotten right now over 2,000 kids that were missing. Even if DC police are able to solve 95% of the crimes on 2,000, that means that you still have 100 critical cases of kids who have not been found. I want you to finish up there.
Well, right. So taking that all into consideration, what we see is that there's an intention of not discussing these issues, and it's because, like what you're getting into, I didn't know that about the cost of a boy versus a girl, and that makes a lot of sense. But that's what it is, and it's why people don't want to talk about it. People don't want to talk about it because when people like you and I spend too much time talking about it, we tend to commit suicide by shotgun blast to the back of our head. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And it's just that simple. It's just that simple. When there's talk about this with another person, when you go to events to fundraise for human trafficking, and then you get the most wealthy people to show up, the big donors come out for charity events about human trafficking, and the question is why? Why does someone that rich care about kids that are disappearing? If I now thinking like a wealthy person. If I'm making money, selling tulips, and in order to make my money selling tulips, I've got to go out and find where native tulips are being grown and snatch those bulbs up so I can keep my business, so I can make the market scarce of tulips, so I'm the only one who has supply. If there is a wildlife protection group that needs help to save our tulips, it makes sense for me to fund them, so I can control what they do and tell them where to look and where not to look. So I can fund them to go look somewhere where I know I'm not stealing my tulips. And so we look at that the exact same way to the trafficking, and there's more. I just mentioned the sex prostitution. I don't want to get too far into like the YouTube realm of what's going on in Capitol Hill and those little buildings with our innocent little boys, because it could be a lot more than just the sex ring. Things like Pizzagate, there's no smoke without a fire. But then there's also organ harvesting. I said that as well. David Rockefeller just finally died at 101 on his 5th heart. He had his last heart transplant at age 99. And we know he wasn't on nobody's list. You aren't questioning that. Every day, from the time this show started at 9 p.m., people have died waiting for hearts, waiting for organs. But wealthy individuals are never on that list. And that's what's, and a 12-year-old boy's heart is very strong.
Very strong.
And listen, Kendrick Johnson, right? 16 years old, found rolled up in his gym mat, organs gone, case ruled a suicide.
With organs gone.
Right? Look him up. You'll see the picture where he's very neatly rolled up inside of a gym mat, completely rolled up, like 5 or 6 times rolled over, body beaten to a pulp, crudely sewn shut, stuffed with newspaper, 3 white boys were seen entering the locker room when he was last seen alive. And those 3 boys were the sons of the judge, the sheriff, the prosecutor. And their little charges, whatever, were dropped, slapped off the wrist, you know, and his case was ruled a suicide.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's where I look at this. When I look at that list and you see that there's brothers who've been on that list since the beginning of this year. And when you try to ask the MPD what happened to the case after it's closed, they say they can't tell you.
Exactly.
That it's closed. They won't tell you, you know, a closed case could be the body was found. Well, he's not missing, so the case is closed.
The case is closed.
So why, you know?
Exactly.
Right. So what happened to that body? Who's investigating that situation? And when you start to pry, they say, we don't have time for that. We don't have funding. We don't have the effort. You keep prying, and you end up committing suicide yourself by shooting yourself twice, you know, in the back of the head.
There are issues. There are issues.
It's clear.
There are issues that are being dealt with quietly and not for public consumption. But I will tell you personally, you need to be very concerned when the police tell you that there's nothing wrong here and we solved 95% of the cases. If you walk away saying, okay, they solved 95% of the cases, what about the other 5? And how is it that it's always a larger number of boys that are missing than little girls? And why is it the industry of social work industry has created this bubble in which they come out in mass numbers when there's attentions given to girls, but I haven't heard them march on Washington for the little boys that are missing. Jessica, how can people get in contact with you? And I would love to have you come back and talk about this issue in greater magnitude in the coming months.
Certainly. Well, you guys can find me on Instagram if you're social media savvy at Cosmic Queen. I'm on Facebook, Facebook page at Cosmic Queen BBL. I'm also on Twitter, at Cosmic Queen BBL, and that is also my email address, cosmicqueenbbl@gmail.com. That's Cosmic Queen Building Black Love BBL @gmail.com, and I do my weekly web show as well. I'd love to have you on the show. I'm going to definitely need to do a follow-up episode as we do more work on this matter. You know, I'm more focused on the solutions than just the problems. So
Exactly.
I've got some programs we're working with, some good things, cooking up some good ideas that have become good reality. If you have an idea, something you can contribute, some funding or some support, a business you think we should work with, email me at cosmicqueenbbl@gmail.com. And my show is Friday nights live at 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We're doing it live on Facebook and on Instagram as we remove our studio. We got our own little account up. So you can find us on Instagram at Cosmic Queen and on Facebook at Cosmic Queen BBL, that's Building Black Love, at Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and at gmail.com. If you want to send me an email, any questions, comments, concerns, or contributions. And thank you very much, Ken, for having me on your show. I appreciate it, and I'll be glad to come on back.
Excellent, Jessica. Thank you so much for spending your time with us tonight. We look forward to your return.
Thank you. Take care.
Take care. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the Cosmic Queen, Jessica Wynter Martin. And the truth of the matter is, yeah, what I do loudly, I've been doing so loudly and so long that I have enemies on every side of the aisle. But the truth of the matter is that there is an industry out there that likes your children to be missing and doesn't want you to focus on the truth. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, I'll have an opportunity to talk with some man who is known for speaking nothing but the truth. His name is, of course, what's his name again? I'll think of it maybe later. No, I'll think of it now. He is the Black Americans for a Better Future chairman, Raynard Jackson. We'll be right back. And I want to thank the great people at SHR Media for carrying us live, and as well at the wonderful, the great Red Nation Rising for carrying us live as well. We'll be right back with more of the best right after these messages.
Welcome to Lion Chasers, where faith and public policy intersect. And now, your lion chaser in the good fight of faith, Lonnie Poindexter on Urban Family Talk.
We're not saying that there's not instances where there's maybe racial injustice somewhere. This is America, and people are human, and there's sin in the world. He's the president of first. He's the first president to say that America is not a Christian nation any longer. But, we'll pray for our enemies while we defeat them.
You can't blame folks for messing up the city. There has not been an elected Republican in council in Baltimore City in over 50 years.
In the co-captain's chair with me today, Reverend Ralph Chittins. What's happened is the social justice movement has now been hijacked by a godless movement. Don't be bamboozled. Ladies and gentlemen, Frederick Douglass was a gun-toting conservative. It's not a black or a white issue. It's a God versus anti-God issue. And I know those will say, well, it's all rigged. It's all a game, Lonnie. Because I get that a lot. And they're the crew that has their bags packed at the train station waiting for Jesus to come back. He'll be here in a minute. Well, train went by, another train. No, that wasn't Jesus. But he's coming. Meanwhile, Rome is burning. The host of the Black Man Thinking radio show. Welcome to the show, Stanley Levy.
Good morning, Ronnie. How are you?
The core issues to build elephants aren't in the home. We've got to do away with the entitlement programs and the things that hamstring us.
And that's where the conservative viewpoints really resonate for my generation.
I want to welcome to the show the host of the Exceptional Conservative Show, and that's my brother Kenneth McClinton. Welcome, brother.
Ronnie, it's an honor and privilege always to be with you. Ever-expanding audience.
Let your listeners be lion chasers with Lonnie Poindexter. If Lion Chasers sounds right for your station or network, contact Will Addison by email, waddison@afa.net. Encourage your listeners to be lion chasers with Lonnie Poindexter and Urban Family Talk.
This is Jared Kushner. Can I help you?
Jared Kushner, so glad to have you on the network tonight. Hoping that you enjoyed yourselves down in Mar-a-Lago. I know that you and Steve Banyan and of course Reince Priebus. I don't know how you were able to see him at the table when he sat down. Hopefully he had a booster seat. But I'm so glad. Raynard Jackson, who is the chairman of Black Americans for a Better Future, is with us tonight. Good evening, sir. It's a great honor and privilege to have you on the air with us tonight.
Yes, it is. Always good to join you, my man.
It is an indeed an honor, and I paid you enough to come on here.
No question. You're paying me what I'm worth.
Listen, Raynard Jackson, you have a huge event coming up on Saturday, and I want to let everyone know about that. Tell us all about it.
Well, I don't know about I thought we had a good event coming up Saturday.
Okay, well, I'll include myself in it.
Well, only because of the Holy Mother, but I digress. Yeah, but no, putting all seriousness aside, coming out after our nice trailblazer event back in February, which you were intricately involved with, we decided to have a candidates forum this Saturday for the 3 Republican candidates running for governor of Virginia, which the primary election is June 13th. And this is not a debate, more so than a conversation in diversity, which is the title of our forum, where we're bringing together the minority community in Virginia, Black, Asian, Hispanic, Indians, etc., and as opposed to a debate where, the candidates throw food at each other. What we want to do is a conversation, and we'll talk about other things, but our 3 priority areas are entrepreneurship within the minority community, especially this issue of government contracting, which is big in Virginia, both federal and state. Number 2, education with a specific emphasis on historically Black colleges and universities. Virginia has, I think, 5 HBCUs in the state. And then the third issue will be this whole issue of policing. How will these prospective candidates, should they, either one of them, become governor, what are they going to do to bridge the gap within the minority community where minorities feel like if they have an encounter with the police, they may end up dead, and the police feel like if they do their job, they're going to be branded a racist. And somewhere in the middle is the truth. And so we want to have a calm discussion with these candidates about those three issues.
So when you say calm discussion, that means that Black Lives Matter is not invited. Is that the case, sir?
Well, no question about it. I mean, we may have one or two there just so that we can have affirmative action, but uh, but, but no, I just think that don't get me started on that whole supposedly movement of two or three people.
But in great seriousness, regarding this particular event, first and foremost, congratulations to Black Americans for a Better Future and making certain that this was put on.
Thank you.
There's always that concern that these individuals run campaigns and they never cross the line called urban America. They never come into the city and debate. I mean, the big debate areas would be Richmond, of course, Northern Virginia, out in Tyson's area, and Fairfax, but certainly not in Alexandria. Why is that, sir?
Well, to be honest with you, Ken, if you look at the typical Republican primary campaign for a statewide office, in this particular case, governor of Virginia, most of these guys, if any of them, have no minorities on their staffs. And then the rare occasions that they do, a lot of even minority staffers don't think in terms of this. For example, do you realize none of these guys have really engaged in Virginia with the black media? There are at least, I think, 5 black newspapers throughout Virginia. Mm-hmm. And they've had no engagement. They've not engaged with the HBCU community. And so it's not a racial thing, Ken. It's just that they don't think about things that you and I think about, which is the very rationale for diversity, because we bring a different perspective to the same table.
But can you blame them? I mean, how many votes am I going to get by going into Southeast Alexandria? You know what? How many votes am I going to get with going into the HBCUs at Petersburg and Richmond? Those guys, they would boo me off the campus, right? I don't want to be involved in all that, right?
Well, but here's the case. If you have, in this particular case, some blacks on your staff who have credibility within the community, for example, for our event coming up Saturday, do you realize, Ken, that we have the local NAACP chapter in Fairfax and Alexandria working with us and encouraging their membership to come out and participate in the conversation? And so, again, I have relationships with people from throughout the black community, and a lot of them are not Republicans, but they cannot dismiss me as an Uncle Tom, a sellout, and all those things. So even when Republicans try to do the right things, a lot of times they do it the wrong way.
Exactly. Now, I know my wife and I will be there. I know.
Well, I don't care whether you show up.
I know you don't.
Mothers that, so.
I thought I would make myself important by saying I would be attending with my wife.
Okay, but that's a different story. That's a different story.
Melanie Collette, who is the president of our business network, will be there as well. And so I'm enthusiastic. This is our first forum, and I just want to tell you, in all seriousness, I really appreciate the fact that you are extending this. This is really a national opportunity, even though it's the Commonwealth of Virginia. This is a huge trading state, and has great ramifications. And
well, Ken, they've traded a lot of our forefathers in the past.
Well, thank you. I mean, who wouldn't for a good draft pick? You know what I'm saying?
Now, also tell your audience, Ken, I don't know why I'm having to pull things out of this. You have so graciously decided and accepted and agreed to be
our radio media partner for this, and we have the Black Newspapers of Virginia as our media partner for the newspaper side. And so this has never happened before in Virginia as far as on the Republican side. And you have major talk show hosts as well as black newspapers all joining hands together to have a conversation with these Republican candidates about issues of particular concern to our community.
Wow. I just want to say thank you. I'm honored. I'm honored to be married with the Holy Mother because that's the only reason that you invited me.
No question. No question. No question.
But it's
And
good
long
that
as you understand that Robin to her Batman.
I want to tell you I love my tights.
Oh, I love them too. So let me stop before we get started.
But this is tremendous. And for those of you following along at home, I'm encouraging you all to attend this Saturday. It is April 15th at 12 noon, from 12 noon to 2. It is on Saturday. And BABF, Black Americans for a Better Future, Virginia Republican Gubernatorial Forum. It is located at 1108 Jefferson Street, Alexandria, Virginia, 22314. You know what? I should have said, since this is a black event, that we start at 10. But
and we'll have fried chicken there too.
We'll have fried chicken and watermelon. There you go.
Oh, that's funny. But as the people can go on our website, BABF.org, and all the invitation is there, and they've come as soon as you go onto the website, that the invitation will pop up, and it's open to the public. There's no cost, and we want folks from various ethnic communities to come out and hear what these candidates have to say, but also for them to come prepared with whatever questions, because Ken, you'll be on the panel as well with Freddie Allen from the Black newspapers, but we will dialogue with you guys, but then we're going to turn it over to have the audience ask whatever questions they have. So it's going to be very interactive. So I encourage your listeners to come out and participate. Don't come and watch. Come and participate, because people have called me, over the months of this campaign, asking me where this candidate stands on this and that area, where you will have them in front of you and you can ask them yourself.
Exactly. And we're promoting it, and we're encouraging each and every one of you, get out here. I don't care if you are not from the Commonwealth, but I want you to see history in the making. We have made our impact, and we're continuing to make that impact. And on Saturday, you'll see the fruit of what we've been seeding all these particular months. The Right Reverend Raynard, well, at least in terms of commentary, but, whatever. One of America's best writers, Raynard Jackson. And someday I'll convince him to use his talents and add his stuff to the Voice of Liberty page or whatever, but I got to pay him for that. Raynard.
Hey, well, like I say, God we trust, all of the fake cash.
That's right. Raynard, God bless you, sir. Congratulations, and I look forward to teaming up with you on Saturday at the Black Americans for a Better Future Gubernatorial Forum for the Commonwealth of Virginia, and that is at 1108 Jefferson Street, Alexandria, Virginia. It is from 12 to 2, so be there with us. God bless you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Ken.
All right. It is so good to have so much to talk about, and I got so much more to talk about. Coming up, BZ will be joining us, and of course, there is no time like a BZ time. A BZ time never ends. We will be right back with more of the best right after these messages, and I will give everyone the signal when that commercial comes. You know the one.
Hello, this is Leslie Ann Sophie with The Real Clear Israel. Join me every Sunday morning at 10:05 Eastern Time on the Exceptional Conservative Network, where we'll be discussing Israel with guests from Israel and around the world.
That's The Real Clear Israel, 10:05 Sunday on the Exceptional Conservative Network.
From the Warfront, to the streets of our nation's capital. Men of faith, Dr. Michael Jones, the underground professor, and Kenneth McClinton, the exceptional conservative, bring both constitutional gravitas and spiritual perspective on today's issues to the most influential Christian urban talk show, 9:05 p.m. Eastern, Thursdays. It's a new day on New Day, Black and Red.
Good morning.
I'm Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Okay, folks, that's not how it goes. I think I'm Shannon, and you're
so.
Michael.
Yeah.
Okay. We are The Right Way with Shannon and Mike.
Join us from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
Live on SHR Media.
And on TECN.
Where we'll be talking about all kinds of things.
From sports and politics.
To food and entertainment.
To money.
Family.
And anything else in between.
Community, holidays, all kinds of things.
It'll be great. Join us from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
Now, Brownells, we know you may have only one shot to harvest that trophy, so we have thousands of accessories and replacement parts to improve your chances. We know how much you love to shoot, so our gunsmiths articles and videos will help you do more and get more out of your guns. We also value your hard work and money. That's why only Brownells backs up everything we sell with a 100% unconditional lifetime guarantee. Brownells, the world's largest supplier of firearm accessories and gunsmithing tools.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second half of the Exceptional Conservative Show, live from the nation's capital. We're not ashamed of the good news of conservatism, for it is the power of liberation, first to the Republican and then to the socialist. So glad to have you here with us tonight. We will be back with more of the best. Of course, the Bloviating Zeppelin will be joining us in the first quadrant of this particular session, well, actually the first half. And then the second half, of course, the lovely Melanie Collette. How can we not know that she would be present? But we'll be talking with her about being the first Black woman to head a Black business network. Congratulations to her. The last kind words I will say about her for the rest of the evening. Beyond that, welcome back. And we'll be right back right after these messages. You're listening to the Exceptional Conservative Show at theexceptionalconservativeshow.com. Stay tuned. We'll be back right after these messages.
It's a love story like no other. From God's heart to yours. And for 30 years, it's been at the heart of every book, Bible, CD, gift, and resource from ChristianBook.com. Over 500,000 products, always at the very best value. ChristianBook.com. Everything Christian, because it's our story too.
Meet Jason. He was really excited to start growing his business with social media until he realized how complex and time-consuming social media can be. It's difficult to manage multiple social networks and accounts. It's hard to monitor what's happening on social media, follow discussions, and engage with new followers. It's time-consuming to publish updates throughout the day, track and analyze how effective posts are, respond to fans and followers in a timely manner, and gain new customers. The list seems to go on and on. Jason quickly becomes discouraged. How could he ever do all of this and still run a business? He was ready to give up on social media until he found eClincher, the easiest way to manage social media. Jason was amazed how straightforward and simple it is to use eClincher. With eClincher, Jason is now able to leverage the power of social media without having to dedicate several hours a day. He can easily organize all his social media accounts in one place, efficiently plan and schedule his posts ahead of time, engage with his followers, understand the effectiveness of his efforts with powerful analytics, find new customers, and much more. In order to tell your business's story, simplify the process of managing your social media, and analyze results, sign up with eClincher today.
Ladies and gentlemen, it comes to that hour of the night.
I'm an executive chef of Infused.
Thank you. We'll get to your commercial in just a few. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, it comes to that hour of the evening where I must, in due diligence, present to you the quid pro quo of this particular commercial for a certain person who happens to be the new president of TECN.BIZ, whose show had a tremendous debut today, and she's already full of herself. I must tell you, quite frankly, that her commercial is coming up now. Assume the pose, gentlemen, of what we shall experience upon listening to it. Get your cigarettes together. It is the Melanie Collette commercial.
Money Talk with Melanie is a lively discussion of global, domestic, and kitchen table financial topics. Join your business diva, Melanie Collette, as I speak with respected entrepreneurs, CEOs, authors, and politicians as we explore today's fiscal environment. Money Talk with Melanie airs every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10:05 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Exceptional Conservative Network. Remember, this is important because it's your money.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming up, the most lovely man ever to come on our program. I say that without any conviction. You know him as the Bloviating Zeppelin. We know him as Sir Mark the Bloviating Zeppelin. For to present to others and introduce to some, none other than the great Sir Mark the Bloviating Zeppelin, the key figure of SHR Media, soon to be president and also tyrant of SHR Media. We're working on a coup right now. Isn't that right, Sir Mark?
The major difference is that I have not fired any Tomahawk missiles at anyone.
You need to get on that right away, sir. What kind of coup are you going to have without the Tomahawks?
I know, but the problem, there's one two teensy-weensy little factors. Number one, I don't have a frigate or a destroyer from which to launch them. And number two, each Tomahawk is $1.4 million. That's just a bit out of my league. Not far, just a bit.
But you do have firecrackers.
Yes. And M80s. Ooh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, you're not supposed. You're supposed to be like Donald Trump. You don't want to give away the entire arsenal. Just let us know that there's a serious threat coming our way.
That's true. That's true.
Sir Mark,
hey, I just heard that Melanie is now president of your network, of TECN. Did that just occur?
Well, she's president of TECN.BIZ, our business network. She did her debut today, and I must say, I am very proud of her. She did a wonderful job. Okay, all right. So I said it. All right, thank you.
It was like pulling teeth, wasn't
it? You don't have to tell Melanie how great she is. I mean, I think she has a T-shirt that says that already.
Never tell me how great I am.
And on the back of it, it's because I'm already telling you. Melanie is a tremendous, tremendous woman and human being, and her arsenal of skills and gifts preclude any that I've run into. She is a great candidate and a wonderful president for TECN.BIZ. She did a wonderful interview today with another cutie. You know what I'm? Oh, wait a minute. Now I'm going to run into some legal issues because I called her a cutie. But yeah, you know, it's that White Mamba and Dave group, you know, that legal department thing or whatever,
right.
You know,
right.
But there were two cuties on the air today. It was Melanie Collette interviewing Ebony Williams. So there you go.
Melanie, if you need it, I'll do a depot for you. All right.
Hey, don't worry about it. I'll get Sean Lewis to be my attorney.
Now there's a hot selection right
now. Dewey, Settle, and Howe.
Yeah. Yeah, Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe.
Oh my goodness. No, not a cutie, a cutie. See you. Thank you, Mary. See, now you're gonna make that law group over there gonna really come after me now.
Yeah. Now someone will say, now he called me a cootie.
A cootie.
Yeah, you know that's going to happen.
I did not say cootie. I said, see, cutie. That's what I said. I said, we're going to have to go back and look at the tape now. And it's probably already been altered by CNN. You know, it's all downhill for me. Should I just settle?
So now Melanie in chat puts up here's a photograph, legal political analyst and Fox News contributor, Ebony Williams. There you go. There's an attorney right there.
Oh, I feel the lawsuit coming, boy. I really do. But hey, if you look at the picture, both of them are cuties. Are they not cuties?
I'm going to ask that of Melanie. Melanie, can I say yes? Do I have your permission?
What do you need to ask her?
No, it's your photograph in there.
I did not say Ebony had cooties. Oh my God. I tell you, the media, boy, they will turn your story inside out.
Yeah, nothing like the devolution of a conversation.
Yeah. See, that's what he said, not me. But Ebony will be representing me. I see now. I see.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, okay. I tell you, women. Anyway.
Oh, nicely played, sir.
Thank you. Are they not women? They are women. That's what I just said.
They are women. They are women. That's correct.
Oh, when do you get sued for telling the truth? Only in conservative news.
Now that aspect is true also.
Very much so. Listen, Bloviating Zeppelin, what is your thing against Google? I don't mind you having a problem against Democrat Senator Elizabeth Warren, but Google? Come on, man. What do you got against them?
Yeah, that's kind of weird. That they have a little motto. It says, "Don't be evil." Mm-hmm. And then we find out the Wall Street Journal has an article that says that Google, and it's no secret, Google is they're embraced by the far left and leftists and Democrats and whatnot. And it's no surprise that the left enjoys Google. But it's funny because now it turns out that Google, the adored people on the left love them. Google pays female workers less than the male workers. And the funny thing is, the U.S. Department of Labor found that out after they conducted an investigation of Google. And they haven't apparently just done it once or twice. The Department of Labor says that it is systematic within Google, which I find kind of interesting. It's sort of the do as I say, not as I do sort of thingy.
Are we really expecting them to actually pay people the right thing? I mean, aren't their responsibility as progressives is to rule over us, morally telling us what's right and wrong, and being our chief priests? I mean, why would they be held to the same standard?
Well, the funny thing is, Google also takes wild advantage of what people are called as interns. Mm-hmm. And if you're an intern, well, lots and lots and lots of tech people in Fauxcahontas want to work for Google.
Yeah.
Because it's a nice stepping off point, and then you get to say to your friends when you come home at the end of the day, look, I just got a job as an intern in Google, and if I play my cards right, I can stay with this company, and they've got Playland inside, and they've got blocks for me to play with, and they have an Etch-a-Sketch, and they have a jump house for me, and I get to choose macaroni and cheese for lunch, whatever it is that I want. I can bring in my dog. I can bring in my Barbie doll, whatever the hell it is that I want, I can do it at Google. So it's a feather in your leftist cap to say that in some techno fashion you work for Google.
Mm-hmm. And then it's okay then if you work for Google to work at Peanuts while they make billions, right? I mean, shouldn't you accept that as a woman? Right. That's your role there. Right. You knew what it was up.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know? Why are you complaining?
And the funny thing is, I don't know if you remember sometime last year and I think the year before, Google had a barge, B-A-R-G-E, and Google's in the Bay Area of Fauxcahontas, and it used to sit in the Bay Area, and no one could figure out what this Google barge did or had on it. And then it was seen on the East Coast, and then I never heard it again. But trust me when I tell you, Google has its finger in just about everything. And if there's a keystroke that you make on the internet, Google knows about it. That's one of the reasons that I left Blogspot. Blogspot is Blogger, which is Google. Yes, it's a free site, but the other caveat of that is, if they don't like what I write on Blogger, they can shut me down. And I've seen numerous blogs written by conservatives or even independents on Blogger through blogspot.com. And one day the site's up, and the next day the site is down, and there's no reason why at all. What the hell? It's true of any and all leftist-leaning media anyway. Definitely true of Twitter, and definitely true of Facebook.
You know, I hear that complaint a lot amongst people. And we got a couple of minutes before we go to break. And when we come back, I want to talk about some of the other writings that you had this week. You are a powerful writer, sir.
Well, thank you very much.
And quite frankly, there are those who would say that Google is a part of the essential progressive agenda. Why isn't there such a thing on the right side of the canopy? You know what I'm saying? How come there's no conservative Google?
You know, that's an interesting point. For whatever reason, you can say that of conservatives in terms of radio, well, definitely of radio. Why is it that there's no real leftist presence in radio? It's just one of those things. Why is it that there's no real conservative presence in search engines? I wish I knew why. I don't. There is the new equivalent of Twitter, and that's Gab.ai, but they haven't quite got their act together yet.
Yeah.
In my opinion, they have a lot of stuff that they need to do. If they can figure out a way to make it as user-friendly, because to me, I don't find it as intuitive as Twitter. And I'm a techno piece of crap when it comes to that anyway. I mean, unless it's really patently obvious to me, I can't make it work. If Gab could somehow crib or craft things to make it sort of kind of like Twitter, but infinitely more intuitive, I believe that Gab could steal a massive, massive market share from Twitter, because they say, you want freedom to write, you want freedom to express your opinions, go for it.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for Gab to respond to my inquiry. So, you know, I'm still in their queue, apparently. So,
let me give you some advice. I was in their queue for a month and a half, close to 2 months, before I got accepted.
Maybe they've heard about me. We are talking tonight with Sir Mark, the Bloviating Zeppelin, my good friend, who will be joining me at Freedom Fest. You can join us too. Stay tuned for the message regarding Freedom Fest and return and listen to us. You can join us in the chat room, everybody. Yes, at the Euro Pacific Bank Limited TECN chat room, where Mary Brockman, my bouncer, is holding fort. There you go, or holding court. I'm giving away a pathological military distinction. We are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Show on the Exceptional Conservative Network. We will be right back.
The Bloviating Zeppelin. He's big-footed enough radio shows to last a lifetime, courtesy of Sean, Clint, Ken, and Jersey Joe. Now it's time for him to waddle on his own 2 feet via the glorious SHR media. Gird thy loins for the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon, coming soon to ossicles near you. Excelsior.
Begin your mornings the right way with some right thinking from me,
Perry Drake, your friendly neighborhood drive-by pundit. I want you to join me every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern and 9 a.m. Central Time on the Exceptional Conservative Network. From politics to pop culture to relationships to whatever else is on your mind, we have a great deal to talk about. Tune in and let's get the talking started.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, conservative by choice. It's Reverend Ralph Chittums, the right guy, on the Exceptional Conservative Network from 4:05 to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. The right guy on TECN. Hi, my name is Willie Lawson of The Willie Lawson Show here on the Exceptional Conservative Network, Monday through Fridays, 9 a.m. They told me that I needed to be humble, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. So I decided to be awesome instead. That's The Willie Lawson Show, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. here on the Exceptional Conservative Network.
Our amazing hosts at the Exceptional Conservative Network broadcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. However, sometimes they get lonely. Be the solution for HLS, host loneliness syndrome. Join us for advice, delightful conversation, and debate in the world's best forum, the Euro Pacific Bank TECN chat room. Go to theexceptionalconservativeshow.com right now. Join us in chat by clicking on the TECS tab, Bible study tab, or TECN tabs. The host you'll save makes TECN amazing. We'll be back after these messages.
From day's first light till night's last glimmer, your satisfaction is our responsibility. On the range or in the field of duty, you can rely on Brownell's lifetime guaranteed gun parts, tools, and supplies. Anytime, any place. It's how we've done business since 1939. Brownell's.
Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you back to the Exceptional Conservative Show, live from the nation's capital, as we're talking with the king of Bobcat Berserk, Berserk Bobcat Saloon. Did I get that right?
I like the first one, the barbecue Bobcat Saloon. What would happen if we barbecued Bobcats there? Would we get more people in the saloon? I don't know. It'd be like, here's your Cheetos and here's your barbecued Bobcat.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. We're on the same track here, ladies and gentlemen. It is on Tuesdays and Thursday nights. None other than the host of Berserk Bobcat Saloon. None other than Berserk BZ, the Blue. Sir Mark the Blue.
Yeah, just save yourself some problems, Ken, and just say, the guy that we're talking to now. Go.
The guy we're talking to right now. Oh, someday they might pay me millions to do this. Anyway.
How cool would that be?
Oh, my goodness. Sir Mark the Bloviating Zeppelin. Sir, you are a tremendous writer, a great author. And you even draw out some stuff too. And all of those are synonymous with your greatness. Can you tell everyone about Bloviatingzeppelin.net?
Well, yes, I can. It's funny you should mention that. You are a wonderful guy because you just gave the website, Bloviatingzeppelin.net.
Thank you.
And this week I've got some in-depth analysis about Syria, and coming next week I'm going to have some in-depth analysis about American law enforcement, where it is, where it's going. And it certainly did itself no favors today with the video that came out and went viral all across the nation, and now it's all the way around the globe.
Now, I want to ask you about something that you didn't write about, but you may have written about in the past. And, you know, based on her integrity, I don't know why she wasn't picked to continue her job as National Security Advisor. Miss Susan Rice, who is just a few inches taller than a certain labor secretary in the Clinton administration. want to ask you, sir, could she ever have lied enough, and is she in any trouble?
The funny thing is, there's so much going on these days in the Trump admin, behind the scenes, in front of the camera, behind the camera. I don't know if they have the focus to be able to continue and do what needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
There are some people that are saying that Hillary Clinton should be prosecuted, that shouldn't be dropped, that should just go on. There are people that are saying that Susan Rice needs to be, there needs to be an investigation on her. And then Trump did almost the unimaginable and dropped 59, well, you were talking about it last week, and dropped a whole bunch of Tomahawks in Syria.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much going on, not just in D.C. surrounding you, but globally. There are tons, and I mean, all basically the main players around the planet are somehow involved with the United States right now, and they're all active, and they're all pushing and pressing. And I suspect a great deal of it has to do with the fact that Donald Trump is a new president.
Yeah.
And they're waiting to see just what it is that they believe that he's going to do. There's a lot of posturing going on in D.C. and all around the world. China, Russia, the Middle East, North Korea, South Korea, Japan, almost every theater that you can think of is actively involved and engaged with D.C. at this point. So how much they're going to remain focused on Susan Rice with all the rest of this stuff going on, I don't really know.
Yeah.
Here's one thing that disturbs me.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Sessions recused himself.
Yes.
When I don't believe he needed to.
Yep.
And then Devin Nunes recused himself when I didn't believe that he needed to. And to me, this is this signals a trend, and it's a trend that as far as I am concerned, this trend can go straight to hell.
Yes.
This is the time for the Republicans to be as resolute and determined as possible, not to throw up your hands, which is historically what the Republicans have done for years and years, and the Democrats well know it. And they totally managed to emasculate the investigation that was going on that Devin Nunes was conducting. And so when was the last time you heard about anything regarding him? Well, the Democrats and the leftists are just happy as hell that he pulled himself out of there. And so in terms of that, they win. Now the question is, does the Trump administration have the will and the focus to look at Susan Rice, begin an investigation, and continue it all the way through? People have said so many times now, Russia, 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 Trump, Trump, Trump. It's not playing, it's not going anywhere. And now that Donald Trump decided with the dead orange cat on his head that he was going to dump a load of Tomahawk missiles in a base in Syria, you know, that Russia thing with Trump, that doesn't play so well anymore.
Yep, it doesn't. And, you know, I know I want to talk with you about Gorsuch before you go, but the whole idea that on the night that he's sitting with his wife and next to Xi Jinping and his wife for dinner in Mar-a-Lago, he's blowing up Syria, or at least the air base in Syria. And he's just a few weeks away from meeting face-to-face with Vladimir Putin. Is that not a most... And in fact, at the same time, our ships are sailing towards North Korea. Is that not the most big daddy kind of blowback you possibly could have, like mafia also kind of thing you could possibly do while you're meeting with your enemy? I mean, just really, I got mad props for this man.
The funny thing is, yeah, it kind of reminds you in the last scene of one of the Godfather movies, when his son or his grandson is being blessed, and at the same time, you know, Mo is being shot in the eye, that kind of thing going on. And it must have been, can you imagine how tense, Ken, it must have been sitting at the dinner table when, just like Bush was sitting in a classroom with kids during 9/11, somebody comes up to Xi Jinping, taps him on the shoulder, and says, by the way, the guy with the dead orange cat sitting on the head right over there, he just dropped an assload of Tomahawk missiles on Syria. Just thought I'd tell you that.
And he's got ships headed your way. You know what?
Yes.
Oh my God! What kind of message? Oh, that is so mafioso. All those years of being in New York.
You know, you look at all the videos of that, and he's smiling, and Xi, who's standing. By the way, this is interesting. I discovered this little tidbit. Donald Trump is, depending on who you believe, 6'2" or 6'3". Xi Jinping is 5'11". I have it on good notice that anywhere he goes when he's on American soil, he wears lifts in his shoes because he wants to be as tall, if not taller, than Donald Trump. He doesn't quite make it, but if you notice that he's trying very hard to be as tall as Donald Trump. Not quite doing it, though.
Oh, my goodness. We're talking tonight with Sir Mark Bloviating Zeppelin. You have got to listen to his show on Tuesdays and Thursday nights here on SHR Media. You can also listen to it from the front page, the home page of TECN, the exceptionalconservativeshow.com. Right after our program on Tuesdays and Thursday nights, it is Berserk, Bobcat, Saloon.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I said it. I got it right. Gee, guy, come on. I got it right. Berserk, Bobcat, Saloon at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. On the West Coast over there in Jerry Brown territory.
My God, that's another story for another day.
Oh my God!
How we just got terribly screwed over by Jerry Brown here in Fauxcahontas.
Why don't y'all just hand over your wallets? What's all this legislation stuff for?
By next, I'm forecasting that even if gas prices go down, Californians will probably be paying right around the order of $4 a gallon for fuel post-February. He just passed SB 1, which attached a 42% increase to gas taxes, meaning that our taxes that we're paying per gallon of gas are going to be going up anywhere from 12 to 15 cents per gallon, plus registration fees are going up 118%. But the cool thing is that Mr. Dementia-ridden, by the way, Jerry Brown has dementia, and he's not running the government. His wife is. Just thought I'd tell you that. Oh, but you didn't hear it from me. You're laughing? It's true.
I know it's true.
It's very true. I have it on good order from people that happen to know that right now. He's not as in control as you may think. But
I just think it's for California, it is so fitting.
It is. You couldn't write a story as craven as this about the state of California, because we already paid through propositions. We asked, the voters passed a proposition that said, hey, we're voting more taxes up and down the wonderful state of Fauxcahontas so that we can have those monies go right into the transportation budget. So what did they do? They lifted all that cash and shipped it over to the general fund. Then they come back, ask, and then demand, and then through hornswoggling and paying people off, they get that SB1 passed through, so that not only we're paying twice, we will be paying twice in the state of California for infrastructure projects that we were promised would be taken care of the first time around. Absolutely incredible. And these people keep electing these fucktards. It's beyond imagination.
What?
The Democrats know in the state of California, no one's paying attention. And the cool part is that you're going to forget about it. They passed it and people are all upset right now. Well, guess what? It's only April. This doesn't take place until November. So from April until November, it's going to go off of everyone's radar. Everyone will be happy. And in the meantime, the old Democrats will be schlepping the wiener to the American taxpayers here in the state of Fauxcahontas, why they again go into the transportation fund. This is where this is earmarked Trust me, they're going to do the same damn thing, pull it out, and ship a lot of that cash back into the general fund so they get to slosh it into various entitlements. And it won't go to the freeways and to the infrastructure that we desperately need here in the state.
All I'm waiting for in California is for one of your bridges to fall like it did in Atlanta. You know,
it's not impossible. Up by me, I live up in the Sierra Nevada mountains, and 2 exits up from where I am, I live at the 4,000-foot level. An entire section of freeway just fell. It just completely fell into a creek down below. Luckily, as with, like the Bay Bridge that collapsed during the earthquake, luckily there were no cars that were traveling through that at the exact moment that it decided to collapse.
Yeah.
Highway 1, all up and down, it's the coastal highway in California, Fauxcahontas. That's dilapidated. That completely falls down time and again, and then they have to throw millions of dollars up at it because it's not maintained. The freeways aren't maintained. All of that cash went into entitlements to keep people on welfare, the Well Baby program, the Pat 'em on the Head program, the Invite an Illegal Mexican to Dinner program, blah, blah, blah. That's where our cash goes. In the meantime, someone is going to get killed, Ken.
Yeah, it is. It's bound to happen. If the dam didn't do it, the infrastructure will. Listen, in finality here, because you have a wonderful program, and like you told me off camera, that if it were not for you, you don't know how Sackheads would make it on Wednesday nights.
Great. You know, I like it when you end on this note. That's wonderful. Again, I say,
is this on?
Sean's at work right now. Colette's probably at work. So they're not listening at this point. I don't know if they listen to you in podcasts, but thank you, Ken, for making my life enjoyable.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And when you tied him up in the closet, that was beautiful too. How can people listen to you on this wonderful network, SHR Media, that carries us live every single night that we're on the air?
Well, I'm going to be on tomorrow night. For anybody that's going to be listening, I would ask this. I think I've got the problem down. We have a problem with the show cutting in and out. And I'm going to be honest, that happened. I was really irate. I lost 47 minutes of my show from last Thursday. And I was not a happy camper. Yeah. And I'm sorry if I'm talking out of school, but we've got to do something about it, and we've got to do it soon. So anybody that happens to listen tomorrow night, if it cuts out, number one, I apologize. We're trying to figure out what the deal is on that. Number two, if it does cut out, please tell me. Yeah. Please tell me in chat. Send me something on Twitter at BZEP. I got to know. I absolutely got to know, because we have to make this right, and we have to do it ASAP.
Exactly. This is not a Nixon practice. This is real.
Okay. Yes, exactly.
BZ, we love you, man. Thank you so much for coming on tonight.
As per normal, thank you ever so kindly for lending me your air. And God bless. You have a great time. And thanks for having me on the show, Ken.
Also, how much do I have to pay you so you don't do the depot for Melanie? Oh, I'm sorry. We'll talk about that off the air.
All right.
Take care. God bless. Ladies and gentlemen, Berserk Bobcat Saloon. It is on Tuesday and Thursday at 11 p.m. after my program. Definitely stay tuned and listen to it. And also listen to BZ on Sackheads Radio Night. We will step away when we come back. None other than the queen of TECN.BIZ. Yes, Melanie Collette. Also want to tell you that tomorrow night we'll be talking about the Middle East with Denise Gary Pandal. You've heard her show. She will be with us. And on Wednesday night, in fact, we will have George Farrell from Black Pack. He will be on, and we will be talking about candidates in the future. We'll be right back.
Shekinah Ranch is involved in helping youth through the snags along the pathway to adulthood. The last 8 years have created greater challenges. Having a president to parade perversion to our youth has generated the need for us to ramp up our character learning 100-fold. Today's youth are confused. Our goal is to give them a fresh understanding of creation, moral clarity, respect for authority. In short, Restore absolutes and boundaries. Boys are born boys and girls are born girls. God's design. Right is right even when no one else is doing it. The Exceptional Conservative Network is underway to raise $10,000 to help advance this mission. Together, let's reverse the confusion aimed at our youth. Don't be a spectator. Go to our donation portal and make your financial contribution, and do it now. Your gift goes towards helping youth get clarity, moral clarity. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Christopher Arnold. I'm the executive chef of the Fuse restaurant, and today I'm going to walk you through some of the meals that we prepare here. We're making a pizza. We use French Italian sausage that we cook here and slice it up. Our pizza dough is in-house made. Our pizza sauce is in-house made. So everything is fresh and ingredients. This is our Thai curry chicken. The sauce is made with coconut milk and the Thai red curry. It is juicy chicken thighs as well as some mixed vegetables, served with jasmine rice and pita bread. So now we're going to prepare our famous blackened tilapia and grits, our fish and grits on the menu. Once the fish is ready, then our meal will be complete. Let me tell you about our infused beef burgers. We keep the spice up just a little bit with our infused sauce. We start off with 80/20 USDA round chuck ham patty burgers, like half a pound of burgers, and we're going to grill it to perfection. After I flip the burger, we add the sauce and let it cook on into the meat just a little bit. We're going to add a little bit of pepper jack cheese to this burger to spice it up a bit. Ladies and gentlemen, 6339 Allentown Road, Temple Hills, Maryland. That's the place to be. This weekend, all week long, go there, morning, noon, or night, however time you get there for the best food in Washington, D.C. We'll be right back.
Hey, it's Jersey Joe from the Dreamer Common Sense. You can catch me every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on SHRmedia.com. It's every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, SHRmedia.com.
We're not ashamed of the good news of conservatism, for it is the power of liberation. First to the Republican, and then the socialist. TECS, the Exceptional Conservative Show. We got our own thing, baby. Come to the exceptionalconservativeshow.com and join me for the best in urban conservative talk. I'm Ken McClinton, chairman of the Exceptional Conservative Network. Never has the cry for economic liberty been more resounding in urban America than on Election Day 2016. It's the economy. All real change begins with the American entrepreneur. Socialism did not work. Progressivism stole the wealth of individuals and families. You voted for something different. Real change. But what does real change look and sound like? It looks like Las Vegas, and it sounds like Freedom Fest 10. Freedom Fest, the world's largest gathering of free minds, is the popular liberty-minded conference at the beautiful Paris Resort in Las Vegas from July 19th to the 22nd. Hear the voices of the urban freedom movement: Deneen Borelli, Larry Elder, Gina Lofton, Helen Rowley, Juan Pablo Andrande, and Ziad Abdel Noah. Share ideas with powerful liberty movement figures like Steve Forbes, Jim Rogers, Anthony Scaramucci, Jennifer Grossman, Naomi Brockwell, Dinesh D'Souza, John Stossel, Lisa Kennedy, Peter Schiff, and our keynote speaker this year, William Shatner. Your money, your liberty, your freedom, your city. Come for the real and return with the change. Register now at freedomfest.com. That's freedomfest.com for $100 off the regular registration rate when you use the all caps code EC. God bless you. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to get in contact with the president of TECN.BIZ. We know that her schedule is very hectic now as the president of a 24/7 business network. We just appreciate the moment, the time that she has for us as you listen to the Exceptional Conservative Show live from the nation's capital. I want to introduce to some and present to others. Yes, as we bow with great magnitude before her holy presence.
Really?
None other than Melanie Collette, the president of TECN.BIZ. Good evening, young lady. Doing extremely well. Glad to have you on the air with us tonight. You can tell everyone's excited by you just being on the air, apparently.
I'm excited. Oh, so?
Dave Blacktoe Milner is like, the phone, Melanie on the phone.
I see him in the chat. I see Dave. Dave's a rock star.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And he understands that you give people the side eye and paralyze them.
You understand. Like, you and Lonnie were trying to duck on Saturday.
That's what I say. Hey, I say just duck.
It can't be avoided. You can just like duck and get away from.
Now, listen, I want to turn everyone's attention to your new website, and Mrs. Biggs likes your website apparently.
Yes.
Okay. It meets with Mrs. Biggs' approval.
Yeah. Face that one.
Exactly. And congratulations to you on the first day as president of TECN.BIZ and your first interview. That happened to be with, what is her name again?
Ms. Ebony Williams, Esquire. Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
That was just, it was good. It was good.
Now, would it be a defamation of character if I were to say that you all were two pretty attractive women interviewing and talking with one another?
Well, I think that we would both appreciate it if you would refer to our credentials first. Because we both worked very hard for our respective credentials and education and things like that.
Yeah.
That nature are our accomplishments. Putting on makeup is really not all that difficult. No. So doesn't really take a lot of talent, and forgive all the estheticians out there. And I'm not saying that, but Yeah,
exactly. But
not per se.
But would I be on the air of truth if I were to say that you all are both very attractive women?
I mean, I don't think that anyone would argue that.
So I'm honest. See, I'm doing the right thing. Why am I being criticized?
Okay, because I think that if we were both, I think if she went on Fox News and just sat there and looked into the camera when someone asked her a question, there would be a problem. That Roger Ailes would have an issue. I think that if when I opened the show and started talking and nothing but dumb stuff came out, you would have an issue.
Well, Dave wouldn't.
There would be a problem. Well, called Much Talk with Melanie, not Look at Melanie.
Well, let me just say, with you being, it's a great joy, you being a doctoral candidate, and she being a 16-year-old student at the University of North Carolina, graduating with law degree and everything, that you all are pretty accomplished women. You're the president of a 24/7 business network now. Congratulations to you. And
thank you.
She's a Fox contributor and everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, of course, I should focus not on the fact that you all are both very attractive women, but simply I should focus on your academic accomplishments and achievements.
What you do, here's how this goes.
Okay.
You focus on our professional accomplishments, and by the way, we can do it in 4-inch heels. That's how that goes.
Snap, snap.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations to you. First and foremost, how was your first day?
Good. It was fine. It was a little stressful because, as you know, we're trying to get some other stuff done. But you know, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. You know, there's some other stuff going on, but it's moving right along. And I have, you know, some ideas, some stuff. Always talking to the chairman, working very closely with the chairman to get some things accomplished. But it's good. It's good. The website's looking good, coming together. And you know, whenever there's a new venture, we have work to do. So
exactly. And
yeah,
I want to give you this time. You have two big guests coming up this week on top of the dynamic start, and you set a Ustream record for first day.
I saw it. You know, I went on there after you said.
I know you did. Congratulations to you. You broke my record. Congratulations to you. Yes, you did for first day. Great. Congratulations to you.
You know that makes me happy.
No. See, I'm going to hear about it for the rest of my life now.
Pretty much. Yeah. Well, the thing is that I'm not all that competitive. What's really important is that I don't really focus on the numbers at all. It's really just about providing a good quality show for the listeners. I mean, numbers just really are really arbitrary. It's not, you know.
So when you get around the dinner table with us in Vegas, you're not going to mention the fact that you broke my record.
No. I don't even look at your numbers. I don't even glance down at your numbers because they're right next to mine. Absolutely.
Now my number is right under yours, so it's kind of hard to look. Yeah, you know.
No, God, no. Why would I do that? No, absolutely not. I haven't been doing that every day since I've been on Ustream. No.
Well, congratulations to you. This woman, she hadn't even set up the website for TECN.BIZ formally, and we'll be finishing that off tonight. But literally, there was a large number of people who just visited your site before.
They probably want to know, wow, how vain is this woman? She's got her big face in the middle of her website. Like, is it TECN.BIZ Melanie? Or like what? No.
There you go.
Negotiate that.
Now, people want to know, they want to know from you, Melanie, exactly what TECN.BIZ is and what do you plan to do with it, and how is that going to impact elections in the future?
Well, it's really good. It's going to be a 24-hour business, conservative business news site, similar to TECN, but it's going to be worldwide because, as everyone is aware, the markets things like the markets and the economy here in the United States are affected by the worldwide economy. And so the idea is to have 24-hour radio and news cycle all in one place, but everything that affects the economy. I have a few ideas and surprises for Ken, which we'll talk about later. But I think it's going to be pretty exciting. Like I said, very similar structure to TECN, but all business and all shows. We're going to develop a whole new schedule, different kind of schedule, one that's conducive to business, but worldwide. We're talking about China and all the different markets that mostly affect the United States. So I'm very excited about that. But the other thing that I really want to do is focus on different aspects that affect business, which there are a lot. You had the entrepreneurial angle, you have the market, you have you also have a spiritual angle.
Yeah.
There's a lot there. So, and the spiritual angle is not something that people talk about too much, but it definitely plays a role, as you know.
Yeah. On Sunday morning in America, billions of dollars get placed into banks around the world. And quite frankly, no one ever talks about that particular issue. And I'm looking forward to you talking about that and its impact on our culture.
Yep.
Now, I jest with you often about your beauty and things of that particular nature. But one of the things that a lot of people want to talk about is the fact that, and notice in my description of tonight's show, I said first, but I didn't put anything next to first. They want to talk about you being the first Black woman to run a business network. Do you think that matters in our society? Do you want it to matter?
Well, personally, I don't want it to matter, but I know it does.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things. It's like, I don't want it to matter all that much, but I also live in this place called reality where I know it does.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those situations where, in the circles in which I tend to run, it's like everything else. I leverage it where I can. I don't really care for, and you and I have had this discussion, as much as we joke about my appearance and stuff like that, as you know, it's not really something that I like to use.
Yeah.
But as I've gotten older, I've just come to realize that I need to live with it and start using it for good and not evil, obviously. But, but after a while, it's like, okay, you need to start embracing it because it's not going away. It's not going anywhere. So
exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's that kind of situation. Like if you,
it is what it is for the moment. But let me just explain to you all that in my mindset, when TECN.BIZ came to mind, I did not choose Melanie because of the color of her skin or because she was a beauty queen. I chose her because of the substance of her character and her spiritual well-being. She is a well-founded woman and a brilliant woman. And I want to say these nice things to her because then I gotta live with that.
They can't. They don't know we're on video chat. You talking about? See, I gotta live with that. They didn't see what I just did.
Exactly. See, these things are gonna be reminded to me over and over again. But I want to tell you personally tonight, as the first of many moves with TECN, the corporate umbrella, the corporate body, I couldn't think of a better person, and I thank God you were that better person. And I'm looking forward to you doing great success with TECN.BIZ. Tell them who's going to be on this week with you and how they can stay tuned to you on TECN.BIZ.
I just got rid of the calendar. Hang on. I know on Wednesday we have Brian.
Trasher.
Trasher.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a book coming out called, and it may already be out. I think it's already out. Called, oh gosh, something like, he's going to kill me for not knowing the title right off the bat.
But it's about Obamacare and,
I'm talking
sausage.
to him about how laws are made.
Yes.
And the book is the theme of the book is basically you don't want to know how laws are made because it's just like how sausage is made.
Yeah.
You don't know how either is made. And I can't remember the title, but it's something in that regard. And he's fantastic. He's a professional government analyst and an author. but he's going to be absolutely fantastic. And then on Friday, I have another one of the Politics on Anne Marie Murrell.
Anne Marie Murrell this Friday.
Oh, thank you.
You have bookend beauties. That's now. I got to cut away, but I got to tell everybody, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't remember anything else that we said tonight, TECN.BIZ. If you don't remember anything that we said tonight, I hope that you remember this. God bless America. It's time for America to bless God. We'll see you tomorrow night when we will have Miss Denise Gary Pandol, and we'll be talking about the Middle East. Good night, and God bless to each and every one of you.
Good night.
There we go.